Do we spend our free time watching Netflix and prank videos? I'm not gonna lie, I actually did that last night. And I don't regret it. There is no get rich quick scheme, and if there is, it's like getting hit by a bolt of lightning. It'll be over in a flash. I like that one.
Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. Following my video on budgeting, I did want to do a follow-up video to show you how the circle of personal finance just keeps going round and round. It's the circle of life. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. So in this video, I want to talk about 5 wealth hacks. In order to be a top grade student at school, we're always told that we need to articulate system-based responses. And those are answers that consider questions and consequence. It's all an equation, and if you mess up the equation, then it's bound to fail. Budgeting is an important topic as it creates a foundation. Good money habits mean that money is kept in your hands so that you can allow it to do what you want it to do. And if that is investing so that your budget soldiers can create capital, then that is an ideal situation. A lot of people, especially young independent people, live month to month. So by mid-month, you may be waiting for your next paycheck so they can live life again. So managing your budget prevents that lifestyle creep from coming up over your shoulder. So let's get into the juicy bits. So the first habit I'm going to talk about is setting monthly goals. And like I've mentioned before in my budgeting video, as a couple we use YNAB. And this app allows us to meticulously plan our budget. You can use other methods like the paper-based method or Excel spreadsheet or a simple notebook and pencil if you wanted to. The point is you create a goal for your money, and that could be paying down a loan, paying down debts, saving up for a particular purchase. Some of the goals that we have within our budget is our holiday pot, for example, so we put a small amount of money aside every month for a holiday. And then my favorite one obviously is the pizza budget, so that is the amount of money that we put aside every month for takeaway. And then we have a number of other allocations for our money, including investments, children's budgets, business ventures, and all of those have different buckets that we plan for and incorporate within our monthly budget, and again set our goals towards. One of the things I did talk about in my budget video is setting an emergency fund budget. YNAB itself is a little bit of a tricky app to use, but there are really great videos by a guy called Nick True on YouTube, who does a really good job of explaining how to explaining the nuances of the app itself. Whatever system it is that you do decide to use, the point is to stick to it and also tweak it every month if it isn't working properly. We're still tweaking our YNAB to this day. The second tip that I want to mention is monitor your progress on a daily basis. I know there are people out there that don't even like logging into their bank accounts on a daily or weekly basis and probably just look at their bank accounts once a month because they're just a little bit terrified of the Amazon purchase that they made on crazy nights out. When I mean crazy nights out, I mean like when you're up with the children in the middle of the night and you know you're just scrolling and making random Amazon purchases. By the by, so as a couple we monitor our progress daily, so we both have the app on our phone and we reconcile each of the transactions because our bank accounts are linked into the app. As soon as we have a transaction come into the app, it gets written off directly and matched within the budget and the category that we've selected for it. So in this way we reconcile the activity daily, and by logging in and seeing where your buckets are and how much you have in each fund gives you a little bit more control and also allows you to rethink any purchases that you might make on a whim rather. It's probably a good time to also plug my enterprise mindset video here, because having a system like this or having a budget written down is almost like looking at your own personal finances like your own business. So if you had your own business, you'd be looking at the accounts on a daily basis, you'd be looking at what's going out, what's coming in, what you're expected to pay, and you'd be constantly monitoring on a daily basis to make sure that you're swimming your way to that lovely profit island somewhere. So you should be controlling your personal finances like you'll be controlling your own business, and that's why I think it's really important to monitor it on a daily basis. Business creates a budget, it monitors the activity based on the budget. Failures don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Now I really sound like my English teacher from back in school. She used to hate us, honestly. So one of the key things that she used to drill into us was failures don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And that was so that we could write the perfect plan for our Shakespeare essay. But it goes for everything in life really. So that, although we hated her at the time, she was an amazing teacher, Miss Ferdinando. I wonder what she's doing these days. By the by, that was one of the things, and I think budgeting and tracking gives us good control because you will plan to succeed and you won't fail to plan. The third habit that I'm talking about is be careful with what you look at. And that sounds a little bit bizarre, doesn't it? My first two tips help create the framework, but nothing will get you away from the messages that are bombarding you every single day. From the moment we wake up, the first thing we tend to do is pick up our phones. We browse, we are constantly dropping these cookies, and now I know why they call it cookies, because they come back and haunt us and they're very addictive, and so they will tailor exactly what you will see, and the more you see something, the more you want it, and the more it will convince you with everything across all of your gadgets, across everything that you're logged into, the more it will convince you that is something you want. I'm not a paranoid person generally, but I'm pretty sure that my phone is listening in on me, and even if it's not, I'm leaving these cookie crumbs for these algorithm gods to pick up anyway. I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of an addiction when it came to Amazon Prime while I was pregnant with both of my babies, because I'd be up in the middle of the night breastfeeding, and then I'd be browsing Amazon and making all these wild purchases, and then my baby brain the next morning or the next day when the parcels arrived, I wouldn't have even remembered that I've ordered something, like a nipple shield, for example. By the by, I've now resorted to creating Amazon lists. So if there's anything I need for the kids, or if there's anything I need for me or the house or anything, I put it in a list and then I review it maybe at the end of the day, or I don't do those instant purchases anymore. The fourth thing I want to talk about is having a purpose. I'm a geek for the mind. It's our most powerful asset, but yet we don't use our mind to improve our mind, if you know what I mean. It's a little bit of a negative feedback cycle there. Avoid negativity and dream stealers. I even have a poster on my workstation with that exact thing. If you don't believe me, it's right here. When we were young, we work during the week to live for the weekend. In our restaurant, when we used to employ student staff, they were much happier being paid on a weekly basis because they had that money for the weekend. And then when we entered the workplace, we have that mindset of working to live. And with that comes a lifestyle creep, because we want to keep up with what your social circle is doing. Now, as a family, we have clear goals and want to diversify our income streams. And then if we want to make certain more active streams more inactive, then we have the option to. Whether we do it or not is another matter entirely. I often accuse my husband of being a workaholic, but in reality, I probably am as well, because we see what we see of ourselves in others. There's some philosophy behind that, I'm sure. The fifth thing I want to talk about is valuing your most precious commodity. For a lot of people, and especially for me, I think that is time. Time is scarce. We don't know when it will end for us, but we know that it will end at some point. We know that our babies will only be babies for a short amount of time. Our toddlers will only be toddlers for a few years. And if you're a student, you'll only be a student for a few years, and then it's the big bad world out there. And I think for that reason, you have to make sure that you're utilising your free time quite thoughtfully. Do we spend our free time watching Netflix and prank videos? I'm not gonna lie, I actually did that last night. And I don't regret it. Do we use that time to research and improve ourselves? Just distribute it, have a healthy lifestyle and spread it out. There's nothing wrong with doing either or. When I'm in my A game, I like to have a scented candle on, I like to have a nice soundtrack in the back, and I like to have mood lighting. So figure out what your environmental mood needs to be to maximize your productivity when you are trying for those productive hours. If you're trying to get rich quick, then all of the above and everything I've talked about is going to be BS actually. To be honest, it's probably quite annoying to hear things like get rich quick, learn to budget, set goals. But to acquire long-term wealth and to stay healthy, it's a gradual process. But you can make it fun too. There is no get rich quick scheme, and if there is, it's like getting hit by a bolt of lightning. It'll be over in a flash. I like that one. But with any kind of luck like that, it's easy come and easy go. So there you have it. Those are my 5 habits. Please drop a comment down below. I'd love to know what your wealthy habits are. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe. Cheers guys. Bye.